Hi, this is Kerry Artag with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Let's take a look at the chart, start with the big picture, work our way into the day itself. We did close below this channel bottom on Tuesday, 158.42. I'm not sure if that's the exact closing price that you see at 157.11, but we are below it. We're also, by the way, below, which I think is of similar importance, we are below the double bottom that has existed now for the last week and a half at 160.51. As you recall, we tested this channel bottom about a week and a half ago, and we put out a double bottom at 160.51. We gapped below both, so it really is the start of a range that begins at 158.42 today. I'm talking a range of resistance, a ceiling of resistance that begins at 158.42. And you can see that on both weekly charts here. You also have daily chart equivalent. The same formation on the daily chart is 159.31. And I must add 160.51 as a resistance area. And if the market were to reject this sell signal, that is in effect now as of Tuesday's close. Now, it does become official, if you will, if we close the week below 158.42, but it is an actionable sell signal right now. I think at the very least you can liquidate long positions, and you could also scale into a short position now, and that becomes confirmed, the final shoe to drop, so to speak, on Friday afternoon if we close below 158.42. I don't think you really need to add the 1% margin anymore because of that 160.51 double bottom that you can see here on the daily chart. We're below all of it. And in fact, I do think by Friday's close, by the end of the week, we can test 148.16. Simple trend line off the lows going back to early part of this year. And then longer term, assuming we close the week below that 159.31 channel bottom, 158.42 on the weekly chart, I do think over the next 2 to 3 weeks, 137.81 is likely. And over the next 2 to 3 months, 101.81. These targets will remain in effect so long as we continue trading below the 158.42 channel bottom on the weekly chart. And that is once again on the daily chart at 159.31. And let's throw in the double bottom at 160.51. Now, what often happens is the market will hesitate during these sell signals, and if there's going to be a rejection, it's typically in the first day or two. In other words, if we continue to trade below this area, time will invite continued selling pressures to send this market on a southbound path. That is the path of least resistance now. That is the probability now. But I think from the Tesla analysis over the last year or two that when we have these big picture longer term signals, whether it's upside or downside, it is that first 24, 48 hours where the market will be, of the sort of reactionary, not so fast. If we close back above 160.51 today, that is once again a rejection of a long-term sell signal. This happened about a month ago, as you may recall, when we settled a Friday afternoon below this structure, only to come gapping back above it on Monday. That set off modest buying, not the buying that we were anticipating, which was into the upper 180s, but buying nonetheless. This is a good illustration of that rejection that occurred about a month ago when we closed below this channel bottom, and then it was right back at you. So that could happen again. And if we close back above 160.51, I see no good reason to be short Tesla as we move, into next week and really through the rest of April, because I do see that a settlement today back above 160.51 should yield over the next 2 to 3 weeks this 187.56 channel top, and that would be the 2 to 3 week play to the upside. But until then, I think you can ease your way into a short position. At the very least, I think you can exit long positions, whether that are out of the money calls you may have purchased over the last few weeks, whatever the case may be. Downside today, I do have 148.16. Now, we've got these smaller minor points. Yesterday's low, 153.75. If you wanted to throw that in there, you could. 152.37 is a little more meaningful than that. But 148.16, if tested today, can contain session weakness. And if we close today below 148.16, we certainly could, with a slight spike in volatility, test this longer-term trend line on the weekly chart at 137.81 by Friday's close. So a settlement today below 148.16, 137.81 in reach by Friday's close. And under that scenario, it is looking more and more likely that this market will follow through on a long-term sell signal that is in play as of Tuesday's settlement below the 158.42 formation, 101.81 in reach over the next 2 to 3 months. That is what you can begin skewing towards. That is what you can begin preparing for. And that could mean reaching for 102 strike out of the money puts that don't expire. I would go 6 months out on that. I think that is the play right now. And quite honestly, I think we could go even lower than that. I see no compelling reason to consider 101.81 double bottom possibilities as we move through the rest of the year. We'll cover that as we approach it, assuming we do approach it. And once again, we are in sell signal mode that becomes quote unquote official on a Friday afternoon, on this Friday, with a settlement below 158.42. Let's take a look at the upside here today. That is the weekly chart. Bear with me, I'm kind of scrolling through the different charts. We've got 160.51. It's about as simple as that. If we close above 160.51, I'm going to take you back to this chart. I see 169.49 within several days, 1 to 2 days perhaps. That will take us into Friday. And then, of course, if we settled the week itself above 160.51 or even above the 158.42 formation, keep in mind that while we are just below this 158.42 formation, if we close above it on Friday, it looks like an intra-week spike below. And so I'm not trying to muddy the outlook. I'm trying to provide clarity, of course, but I'm also being realistic. We have closed below the structures. We've closed below the double bottom over the last month and a half. We've closed below the channel bottom on the daily chart and on the weekly chart. But I also know that over the next day or two, the market may reject this sell signal, which would provide a meaningful buy signal. So, it is just the way it is. So if we close above 160.51 today, I do think 187.56 in reach over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But right now, it looks to me like we are in the midst of a longer-term sell signal that becomes confirmed with a Friday settlement below the 158.42 formation, and I think you can then begin planning for 101.81 over the next several months. And yes, over the next few weeks, we should then test 137.81. I think that pretty much rounds it out. There's not much else to add beyond what I already have said, so I'm going to leave it at that for Wednesday's Daily Tesla Report. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wikistocks.com. I'll be back tomorrow with Thursday's Tesla Report. You have a great day.